where it is, somewhat traditional, like the kissing hand. You could say for Chester, who's the really important person in his life, the really important grown-up? Well, who's the most important grown-up in your life? And give them a chance to kind of put themselves in that story. And then even though it might not physically look like what their family does, unless they're a raccoon, I guess, that like they can see themselves in that. They're able to insert, like understand those same concepts, even though their family looks different.
I think that's very important. And also to leave, when you're reading stories, open-ended. Like, don't prescribe a mom or a dad in every story. You don't have to do that. You can even like make up names that go both ways, like Brian, Kelly, just maybe making it a little bit more open-ended so that kids can put themselves in those books that you're reading.
And so one of the things too, like, not just in the books you're reading, but like when you're doing a flannel board or if you're doing an activity, I always make sure I switch genders. So I don't always say he went, I'll say he, she, sometimes I'll say they, because you don't know if there's a kid who doesn't want to use a gender pronoun already, even though they're not saying that. So, and the Emma Garcia books that have the trucks in them, sometimes the trucks are girls and sometimes the trucks are boys. So when I'm reading a story, I'll say if it's an object, the object doesn't automatically default have to be gendered as a male object. So I'll say like our girls or our boys. So like you don't always have to say like this is automatically gendered as a male thing. So and objects too, because a lot of those books, like you're saying raccoon, we're obviously not a raccoon. So we don't obviously have to be girls or boys too. So I like that. And as Pride, there's a book from Imagination Press that's out now that's called One Weekend in June. And it's all about gay pride. It's about a family going to gay pride. It's written in verse. It's written for the 4 to 6 set. It is amazing. Imagination Press also has a book called Not All Princesses, which is about how you can play across gender without being, not all princesses wear pink and not all knights are brave. And they're both really amazing. And if you're not familiar with Imagination Press, they're the imprint of the American Psychological Association. And they have amazing titles for some sad things that kids have to deal with, like a death of a sibling, and they're all written by psychologists, and they're really, really great. So if you're not familiar with them, you should look their stuff up.